as you may know, Fallout 4 is the fourth numbered game in the popular franchise of post-apocalyptic America. And from what I saw from reviewers, it has good and bad parts. But usually in a game, the good parts are, well, the good or bad parts are really strong. Like, the game tends to be bad or the game tends to be good. And I feel that for Fallout 4, it's split right down the middle. Now, this doesn't mean that it's a 5 out of 10 because, well, I hate quantifying a score with numbers. Let's just say I prefer the Kotaku way of doing things because numbers are arbitrary. Now, like I said, there's a lot of good, some bad, but the bad is, I feel, very bad in the sense that it washes down the gameplay, or, the story, or whatever you may call it. And I'm going to list what I think are the misses that Bethesda had with Fallout 4. Now, Fallout 4 is big. The map might not be huge in terms of distance you can travel, but I do think that it is one of the most elevated games that Bethesda has ever made. It's very tall in the sense that when you go explore a power plant or something, well, you have a lot of levels from, elevation wise. Is that necessarily bad? I don't think so. Honestly, I like that there is a lot of elevation. I would have liked maybe to see more, and maybe I would have preferred having a bit of a larger map. But all in all, that in itself is not bad. On the contrary, I want to talk about the bad stuff, but I'm going to talk about good stuff. On the contrary, the fact that the map is a bit smaller, distance-wise, I feel makes it much more compact, which means that as soon as you get out of finishing a random dungeon, or whatever you want to call it, well, there's something right on your map ready to get, begged to be explored. And that's good. I really like having, yes, you're in the Boston Wasteland, or the Commonwealth, rather, but you have something every single time in every single direction you're looking at. Or at least most of the time. The best example I can give is you're traveling from Sanctuary and you get the Red Rocket. You go to the Red Rocket, rather. From the Red Rocket, you know where the next town is. Then from that town, you know where some settlements or some other stuff ready to be raided by yours truly, or yourself for that matter. Just, they're just there. You know where to go. I feel that Skyrim felt a bit empty at times, and I definitely do not feel that with Fallout 4, which is really good. Next thing. This is both a good and bad point. The dialogue. The fact that your character talks is an amazing upgrade. I am so happy they did that. It brings personality to your character, although when you play role-playing games, well, you want to roleplay as your character, and sometimes the voice or the choices that your character has, well, they simply don't work. And in this case, the choices that your character has to say are really dumbed down. Yes, sarcastic, no, I want more information. That is exactly the solution or the format of every single conversation. You can't have a conversation without having the four same options. The dialogue it's not bad per se. I mean, Sure, sometimes like when your character talks, it feels a bit forced, but they did find actors who gave a personality to your character. And if you go with the flow of your character's personality, you're probably going to enjoy the fact that they added voice protagonist. On the off side, what that does is, since you only have 4 personalities, or rather 4 answers, the conversations are forced in one direction. In no way are you ever, or very rarely, I should say, do you have multiple options for a conversation. Best example, you are entering Diamond City, and you're talking with Piper and the mayor of Diamond City. And whether you answer towards leaning towards Piper's side or towards the mayor's side or just I don't give a shit, the outcome is going to be exactly the same. And that is not how a Fallout game should be. Fallout has always been about choice, whether you are a horrible human piece of shit or if you're actually the savior of the wasteland. It's all up to you. And it's no wonder why the first mods that come out are, well, obviously nude mods, but also, like, this is gonna sound like really creepy, but mods that allow you to kill children, or at least every single NPC. Because at the end of the day, I mean, yeah, super mutants are not, they're not realistic, but why the fuck would you shoot someone in the face and instead of dying, they just crawl on the ground and tell you to go away or plead for their lives, but they never actually die? I wanted Fallout 4 to have like a hardcore mode where any character can die. I mean, there would be no essential NPCs. If a character dies that's essential to a quest, well, you can't complete that quest, or at least not by the same way, not by talking to that person. And I feel that Fallout 4 has been greatly washed down in that sense, which is not a good thing, in my humble opinion. Combat-wise, I love the combat. It actually feels like it knows what it wants to be now. It's not to say that combat in Fallout 3 and New Vegas were bad. It's just that they were very clunky. And clunky is putting it mightily. The guns felt off. In Fallout 3 you couldn't even aim down the sights. They started that in New Vegas. In Fallout 4 it really does feel more of an action game than an RPG game. And honestly, is that a bad thing? No, I don't think so. I like what they did with the perk system. I like that you can basically become whatever the hell you want. Sure, I mean, you can't just concentrate on one build. Well, you can, but some people don't think that they can, and like, well, it's useless if I can be whatever I want. No. You don't understand. Give freedom to the players, and they will do whatever they want. I wouldn't be surprised, like, reaching level 50, which I believe is the cap for creatures, the level cap for monsters. You reach level 50, and after that, sure, you could always, like, level up your character, or you could just say, well, I'm actively stopping myself from giving myself more perk points. Or you could just continue. Like, okay, I've played a guy with a laser beam rifle all game long. The first time I got an energy weapon, I only used that, and I only collected energy weapons. I don't use anything else because it's stupid. Well, then you decide, well, hell, I have this huge, like, hammer it's like a cinder block attached to a metal pole. Why wouldn't I start using that? And indeed, why wouldn't you? Just to try it out. I mean, sure, you could start a new game and all that stuff, which, honestly, I don't mind starting a new game in Fallout 4 because, well, you get to re-explore everything in different builds, and every time you re-explore something, you find something new. There's always something new to discover, which is pretty fantastic. So, gameplay-wise, I really like how it feels. The sound assets are very satisfying. The level of customization for your guns is really cool. I really like that also. Some people say it's dumbed down. I don't agree with them because it feels like every weapon can be modded, which is really cool. And as long as you have the perk points and level requirements, well, you can build pretty much anything that you want. From a laser pistol to a laser rifle, or a plasma gun to a plasma sniper, or even like a minigun laser that shoots like plasma bullets. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff to do. Enemy variation is something that concerns me a bit. You have your Mirelurks, you have your mole rats, you have your mutated dogs, you have your super mutants, you have your feral ghouls, and you have your raiders. Well, humans in general. Some enemies are a bit different, like Swan, which is a super mutant with like toilet pieces all over him, which is a pretty interesting character, if I do say so myself. The overall build of Swan is actually pretty cool, but I would have liked to have seen a bit more, in the sense that more variety between creatures, which I felt was also lacking in Skyrim, because Skyrim, you can basically count the creatures with like two hands almost, and it kind of feels the same way for Fallout 4. I mean, obviously I feel that there's a bigger variety, but I still would have liked to have seen like a lot of different enemies, like weird ass shit. But at the end of the day, they're still fun to fight. Every time you enter a gunfight, holy shit, if you're not prepared, you will most likely die. This game is way harder than the other Fallouts I've played, especially when you start a new game and you don't know what the hell you're doing. It wasn't as bad, in my opinion, in Fallout 3 in New Vegas, but Fallout 4, if you don't know what the fuck you're doing, you are most likely going to die, and that honestly is pretty great. Now, in conclusion, at its best, Fallout 4 feels like a tense action game with RPG elements. The atmosphere in every new location. The atmosphere in every new location it's somber, it's dark, it's creepy. You never know what the hell you're gonna face. Are you gonna fight against simple raiders? Are you gonna fight against synths? Are you gonna fight against feral ghouls? Who knows? One thing that you do know is that you want to go in prepared, and you want to have a lot of ammo because you pass those fairly quickly. At its worst, Fallout 4 is another Fallout game with slightly modified mechanics. Is it bad? No. Is it good? Well, I mean, I've played for over 30 hours now, I believe, and I have no intention of stopping playing anytime soon, because it's actually a really fun game. I'm really enjoying it, and I really hope that Bethesda changes their goddamn engine next game. Please, Bethesda, change your goddamn engine. That's the only huge issue I have, is that it's not well optimized. There's a bunch of shit that are useless. The graphical fidelity isn't super high. The aesthetic is awesome, don't get me wrong. I really love the aesthetic, but the graphics of the game, to me, are not up to par with what should have come out. In my personal opinion, obviously. But yeah, I mean, that's what I think of Fallout 4. I will most likely going to continue to play for a very long time because I really like the game. And that's pretty much it. I can't wait for the mod kit to be available on Steam. I'll be downloading a bunch of mods to probably change what small issues, might I add, that people like. or if people agree with me. But yeah, besides that, I love Fallout 4. That's why I heart Fallout 4. And thank you all for listening. This has been going on for quite a while, but thanks for listening very much, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Bye!